Welcome, people of the interwebs, to a new podcast starring the three of us here. Myself, Connor Meganson, the brony over there with the halo, Harrison Miley,
Yeah.
and one of the many of the Cleggs, Joshua. Now we are
Hello,
here.
good people of Earth.
Say hello, brony Harrison.
Hey,
You're
this is Lyra. She's a pony.
Okay, well, we are here in this new podcast called Geekolagist, where we shall do many different things. But today we shall do this thing called review a film.
You know
And what
what?
is that film? That is the recent
Iron Man.
You just suck,
thought-
don't you? So, Iron Man 3, written and directed by Shane Black, starring Robert Downey Jr., Gwyneth Paltrow, Guy Pearce, Rebecca Hall, and Don Cheadle, and Ben Kingsley. Usually on this here podcast, we would take several news topics and we would discuss them via discussion. And then later on, we'll do this thing called a recommendation, where we each recommend something for the folks to indulge in. But today, we're going to skip them stupid news stories because we have Iron Man that has just come out and is breaking stupid box office records. So,
it was stupid awesome.
Harrison,
Yes.
Iron Man thoughts. Leave no stone unturned.
Well, you see, I went and saw a movie the day before it came out for some reason. Its name was Iron Man the Third. It was really just Iron Man 3. And I had to say I was really impressed. Like, this is one of the few movies where the trailer really did not reveal anything from the movie, so you were really shocked when stuff happened.
It went in an entirely different direction from what the trailer told me. I thought it was going to be pure seriousness.
So here's my problem with the advertising. I love whenever movies can advertise a movie without giving away all the good stuff. But the advertising for this movie almost completely tricked you into thinking it was another movie. Because it's very different from all the advertising. So
I agree. It was like...
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I liked it either way, but I don't know. We don't usually see that, because usually it's just here, all the good stuff, but now it's not even the same movie. It feels like.
Yeah, like I said a second ago, the trailers made it look like it was so serious and so dark. And then you get to the movie and it was nothing like that.
No.
And it is darker than the other two Iron Man movies.
Yeah,
But it
was like the darkest Iron Man movie out of the rest. I mean, it wasn't completely dark, but it had some pretty dark moments, you know.
I think it's perfect for Iron Man, because it's the darkest of the three, and it's also at the same time the funniest of the three, which I don't know how. I guess that's just Lethal Weapon writer at his best, but I mean, that's hard to accomplish, and they did it flawlessly. So
yeah, I thought it was really good. I mean,
yeah, I really enjoyed it. I did have my problems with it, but that's more spoiler stuff, so I'll wait for that. I don't think anyone can disagree that this isn't really an Iron Man movie, that this is a Tony Stark movie.
Yeah, this is definitely a Tony Stark movie, because
I thought it was a Hulk
this isn't
movie.
really a spoiler, but about 80% of the time, no, way more than 80% of the time.
I think 80% or 85 is a fair.
75.
85% of the time, it was Tony out of his suit.
Oh, Spider-Man!
Here's the deal. No, it's not. That's not a spoiler, because
just
That
kidding.
is not a spoiler.
if
I
you
was
haven't
kidding.
seen the movie, then I would tell someone that before going to see it, so that because the trailers make it feel like full on Iron Man action the whole time.
Yeah.
So that's
But
something
a lot
that
of it's more about focusing on Tony Stark and what happened, what he's going through after the Avengers movie.
Yeah,
which I did like how it did, because it's a big deal. This is the first movie after the record-breaking, critically acclaimed Avengers. How are they going to do it? But I really liked how they connected it to the Avengers without actually making it Avengers 2. It was still very much an Iron Man contained story, but it also feels like it's in that same universe.
Right. I wasn't sure if they were going to totally dodge what happened in the Avengers or if they were going to reference it. And they definitely brought up, some of the trauma after that.
And
I really like the way that
really
they
well.
handled that, because that feels very realistic. And seeing that type of struggle, it brings. I don't wait to talk about that in the spoilers, because there's something that I really like that they did with Tony Stark's character from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, Robert Downey Jr. is at his A game. I don't think he's ever been better as Iron Man Tony Stark.
I would definitely agree with that. I mean, you still have the whole "Sir, please." Well, that was Tony Stark related. My bad. That wasn't Robert Downey Jr. related, but still, he was definitely. Oh, I'm at a loss for words right now. Give me a moment. Continue.
Harrison, what do you think about the old RDJ?
I think we need a cricket noise for Joshua.
I think you need to give your opinion. Oh, yes.
Okay. Dude, I was like really impressed by the acting of it. It was just like, oh my gosh. Because see, we'd seen him before in the other Iron Mans. And I mean, in the first one he was just getting started. So I mean, we were trying to develop his character, but he's like trying to fit into the role. This one it was just like, in my opinion, dead on accurate. And like in the Avengers he was really good. It's just the movie focus wasn't about him, so he didn't get as much time to shine. But this one he was like the main character.
He actually did not get the most screen time in that movie, which I'm happy that he didn't get the most screen time in the Avengers. It was actually Captain America did. They counted all the percentages. Okay, continue.
Wow. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna ask who did.
But yeah, get out of here, cricket! Ow.
Oh, no aggression.
That was violent.
Well, there's a cricket on my desk. What would you have done?
Anyways, but yeah, that was really good, and I was
I think
glad.
the acting. All right, continue.
But
Okay, I'll continue then.
Do continue.
I'm sorry, I was talking over you a second ago. But anyways, he definitely did a good job. Made you laugh, made you really think that Tony Stark is an absolute jerk, which really isn't that hard because, he's full of himself already. But
Yeah.
he really did pull off Tony Stark. Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark, and I'm not entirely sure how anyone else after this is going to be able to pull it off the way they
Yeah, I don't think that Robert Downey Jr. exists anymore. I think it's just Tony Stark there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Something that I was really shocked about is this is because I read the Iron Man comics. I haven't read the recent ones, but I have read them before. This is the closest to comic book Iron Man you get.
Yeah. On the note of not reading the comics, like the new one, no one can blame you for that because the artwork hurts your eyes. It is awful. Everyone's just got plastic on their face 24/7, and it's painful to look at.
I think that's mainly the Extremis comic, which there's no shocker that there's Extremis in this, but we'll talk about that later. But this is a lot of people will watch the movies and be like, "Oh, Robert Downey Jr. He's this quick, it's great," and then they'll read a comic because they get invested. And they're like, "This is a snooze fest. This really isn't like the movie." But this is the closest that he's gotten. And he's still freaking hilarious in this movie. And it's also probably the smartest and the most clever humor of all the movies.
I would definitely have to agree with that one. We don't have a "Sir, please exit the donut," which honestly, that was semi-humorous the first time I saw it, and then I see that later, and I'm like, wow.
This is
"Sir,
a lot more.
please exit the donut."
This humor is this is the type of humor that I like, where you sit there and it's really smart, and it's really quick-witted and clever, and it fits his character so well. So yeah,
it's definitely the best humor in the Iron Man series.
Would you say it's your favorite of the Marvel movies so far?
Dang,
I don't think that's
no.
Marvel Studios being Iron Man, Iron Man 2, Hulk, Captain America, Thor, Avengers, Iron Man 3. I don't think that's hard for anyone to say. I think it's still gonna stay Avengers.
No, dude. We gotta admit, Spider-Man 3 was the best.
Spider-Man 3 is not a Marvel Studios movie.
You're funny.
I am joking, man.
It's also terrible, but it's also not a Marvel Studios movie. It's not in the universe of the Avengers. But I still think Avengers it's got everything.
Random death shot of Joshua.
Favorite Marvel movies. And I almost admit the Avengers whenever he asks that, because that's kind of everyone's. It's.
I don't know. I don't.
Favorite
The
one.
Avengers was good, but I still don't think I would choose it as my favorite.
Would you choose this one as your favorite?
Um,
I can easily see how
I
someone
would
would.
not choose it as my favorite.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Or how about we make it easier? Which one's your favorite hero? Like, if that's easier.
Well, that's actually harder.
That is harder.
I still think, beside omitting Avengers,
Yeah, let's just take the Avengers
Captain
out.
America's my favorite. Because
Okay,
Captain
good.
America,
I'm not the only one who is going to
Captain America is classic 40s Rocketeer type, just good old boy type movie. And I love that.
I couldn't find a flaw with that movie, personally. I mean, if I watched it just trying to find flaws, I might find one, but I don't know. I thought it was almost perfect. Like, I loved it.
There's flaws in it, but I can give it a pass
I
because
love
it does
it
so many
so
other
much.
things so well. It does so many other things so well.
Right.
I agree. And it's so good.
But after seeing this might be on tie with that. Because this is a really, it's a summer blockbuster, but it's a really good movie.
I may have to watch it again at some point. Probably.
I think it's still on Netflix.
I was talking about.
Yeah, I figured that whenever you said as soon as it comes out. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. This is a movie where you're gonna have to see it again.
I'm actually going to see it right after this podcast, surprisingly.
Hey, ooh, look, I got an email.
You want to know another plus?
Add that.
Yes.
Paltrow doesn't have the depth of cardboard. Yes.
No, well,
She was good. She was
Here's-
good. Which is
here's my-
amazing and mind-blowing.
here's my thing with Gwyneth Paltrow is she has the exact same amount of screen time as she did in the other two movies. It almost feels like she doesn't have any more screen time than the other two, but she feels integral to this plot,
Exactly.
Yeah.
which is it makes it all the more better. Speaking of that, what about the rest of the acting? I think there wasn't a bad apple in the bunch.
Guy Pearce was Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce is always great. I don't think Guy Pearce is ever bad.
I don't think I've ever seen a bad movie with Guy Pearce.
I've seen The Lockout, which is a terrible movie, but Guy Pearce is fun in it.
Well, okay. Point made, but I don't think I've ever seen Guy Pearce act bad.
No, Guy Pearce is always good. Rebecca Hall, who's in it for only a little amount of time, she's the brain surgeon chick person.
Or the quote-unquote botanist.
Yeah, the botanist.
Also, Tony Stark sleeps with her in the first 5 minutes of that.
Not a spoiler because it's the first 5 minutes of the movie, but I've loved her ever since I saw her in The Prestige, and she's good in this. She doesn't have a lot to do, but she's good in it. Rhodey, Don Cheadle. This is the best that I've seen Rhodey. He really gets a chance to kick some butt in this movie too.
Yeah, he definitely has his chance. Second movie, he pretty much gets he's in a suit, but he doesn't really do much. He pretty much gets the crap beaten out of him whenever he's armed in the second movie.
Not only that, but in this one he just gets even better dialogue.
For real.
Yeah, I agree. He did get a lot better dialogue, but
I think that comes from Shane Black writing, who's done Lethal Weapon, and he's really good at buddy cop stuff.
yeah.
And the writing in this film is stupid great.
I agree. It is very good. It is indeed stupid great. But
This one feels like a much tighter film, where the first two felt very improv. It's like there was kind of loosely a story there that they just kind of went with. This one, it feels very tight. Everything is there. It's not off the cuff at all. Final thoughts. I'll just say this one part. The ending is going to polarize people, and then there's a part about halfway through the movie that I'm sure everyone's already had spoiled for them if they haven't seen it. That is going to polarize people. You're going to be on board or off board.
And also, this is not a spoiler, but
I'm on board.
Seeing as this is a Marvel movie, I would highly recommend you stay after the credits, just because, duh.
Yeah, it is a Marvel movie. There's going to be an after-credit scene. I think that's just common knowledge by now.
yeah.
But some of the people walked out when we were there.
I thought it was really good. People should definitely go watch it.